Hey guys, how's it going? We're back with another video. This is the next video with the MacBook Pro Mid-2012 15-inch. I've got the specs up on the screen for you here. So in today's video, we're going to talk about creating a song using GarageBand. So the goal with this video is not we're going to use Logic and we're going to use all these really expensive things. No, this is a cheap 11-year-old laptop. We're going to use free software. And the amp we're going to use is the Fender Mustang 1, which you can find for literally $40 or $50. It has a USB out, so we plugged the USB cable directly into the Mac, and we're going to open GarageBand, and I'm just going to go through with you how to quickly and easily make a song. And I guess the other thing is, can this Mac handle it? I'm sure it probably can, but we'll see. Okay, we've got GarageBand open. You can see the internal microphone is picking up my voice as we're recording this right now. We're not going to use the internal microphone for anything though. We're going to use the amp. But before we get started, I just wanted to go over this again. If you didn't see part one, I encourage you to go look at that. That's kind of how we built and restored this thing in the first place. But this thing's got 16 gigabytes of RAM. It's got a 2 terabyte solid state drive. And I installed a wireless AC. It's like a USB Wi-Fi adapter. It doubled my internet speeds after I did that, because the one that comes in these is really old. So yeah, this is not like a stock, it comes this way. I did not spend very much money to upgrade it, so I did want to throw that caveat out there while we do this. I'm not sure that you get the same results with a spinning disk and 4 gigabytes of RAM, for example. But yeah, just wanted to throw that out there. 2 terabyte SSD. Honestly, a 256 gigabyte SSD would perform the same way. Really, the only difference here is capacity. And then the RAM, that's going to make a big difference. I recommend it. I think it's only like $14 to get a 16 gigabyte kit for this Mac. So yeah, go ahead and do that. Oh, one other thing. You'll notice the screen doesn't have black bezels. That's because this is the high gloss display, high resolution, not high gloss, it's matte. It's the matte high resolution display. This was an optional upgrade at the time of purchase. It's amazing. Literally from any angle that you look at this computer, you can see the screen very clearly. It rivals a Retina display in my opinion, and it's huge. It's 15 inches. I really like that. So, all right, as Def Leppard would say, action, not words. Let's get started. So the first thing you want to do is turn on your amp. This amp, like I said, has a USB out. If you're going to do this and you're trying to do this easily and cheaply, I highly recommend doing this with an amp with USB out. It makes it a lot easier. You can plug in a microphone and mic up the cab and all that stuff, but if you're just getting started, you're probably not doing that. I would recommend an old Fender Mustang or a PV Viper or something like that. So once you have it plugged in and turned on, you're going to go to GarageBand Settings. You're going to go to Audio MIDI right here. Your output device is going to be whatever you're listening through. If you're trying to record your guitar and listen to it through your computer at the same time, really your only good options are going to be the built-in output, which is your speakers or headphones, line out if you have that on your computer, and that's really it. I don't recommend doing it over Bluetooth or with AirPods because the latency is going to be such that you'll play a note and then there'll be a little bit of a delay before you hear it, and it's going to cause timing issues with your recordings. So that's the output device. For input device, you select your input device. In my case, it's the Mustang amplifier. Your other options here would be your built-in microphone, and that's the one that's built into the webcam up there. The built-in input, which this computer has a line in, so you could plug maybe a microphone or an iPod or something in. And then you've got your phone. If you have an iPhone and it's up to date and you're running Ventura, then you can actually use the microphone on your phone in GarageBand. I imagine it's not going to work very well. I've not tried it and I don't really have a reason to, but that is an option. So we're going to select Mustang amplifier because that's what we're going to do. All right, I'm going to uncheck this. So now you've got your amp on, you've got your amp plugged in, and you selected it as your input device. What do you do now? If you want to hear your guitar through your computer, what you do is there's this little button right here that says Input Monitoring, okay? Input Monitoring, and it's right next to the little headphone icon. This is a button that will allow whatever audio signals coming in through this track to play through your computer speakers or through your headphones or whatever you have plugged in. So I'm going to click that button, okay? And then down here, there's a little button that says Feedback Protection. You want to turn that off. So what happens is, as you know with a microphone, if the microphone picks up itself, for example, you're singing and your voice is coming out of a speaker, and then the speaker is going into the microphone. It creates an infinite loop of sound that causes really bad squealing. So GarageBand has this function to prevent that. If it notices that starts to happen, it turns off the monitor so you can't hear it out the speakers anymore. I would suggest turning this off for recording guitars because it naturally, the pickups might pick up some of that sound, but that's part of how guitars sound, right? That slight amount of feedback, if you can command it, can be a good thing. If you find that it's undoable, then just turn your body, turn your pickup away from the speaker. So I've got that on. So now that we have the monitor on and everything, let's turn the guitar up and let's see. Oh, you can see. Did you see it move? So let's see if we can hear it. Okay, so that came straight from the Mac speakers. That was not the guitar amp. You'll notice it sounded a little tinny, of course. But this isn't about hearing it very well. Now, you could go balls to the wall and get some like really nice, really high wattage reference speakers or something if you wanted to use that as your primary sound system instead of your amp speaker. Let's say you have a terrible amp speaker. That's an option, I suppose. But the goal here is to be able to hear it at all and to know that it's working, to know that it's coming through. And you can kind of try to adjust the volume levels against other tracks and stuff while you're playing it. So just to show you here, if I switch through a couple of these presets on this amp, you'll notice that obviously this computer is going to pick up whatever the amp's putting out. So if I move it down to a cleaner setting, tune your guitar, man. Anyway, and then we'll do one more. All right, so it's working. So we've got the guitar set up and ready to go. What do we do now? Well, GarageBand is my very favorite DAW. I know a lot of people are cringing. They're like, dude, you're a noob, you're an amateur. Okay, maybe I am. But here's the thing. There's a feature in GarageBand that doesn't exist in a lot of other DAWs. Unless you pay a lot of money for a plugin that isn't as good as the one that GarageBand comes with. Let me show you. So if you right-click, control-click, two-finger click, however you have it set up on your Mac, an empty spot, hit New Drummer Track. Check this out. So what this is over here on the left side, you've got all these named drummers, right? For all these different genres. So there's hip-hop, there's electronic. Obviously, we're going to do rock. And then you pick a drummer. All of these drummers, they play differently. I know if you've never seen this before, you're like, you mean there's a drummer inside GarageBand that Yes, there is. We're going to pick Anders. He's a heavy, hard rock guy, okay? And then, you don't have to do this, but if you wanted to, you could come down here and there's all these different drum sets. They all sound different. I'm going to leave it on heavy, which is the default. And then over here, you have beat presets. So let me show you how this works. Okay, we're just gonna pick a section up here and turn on a loop. So we set our BPM right here, right? So it's set at 80 right now. I'm gonna set it for like, I don't know, 145. All right, it's at 145. I'm gonna hit play. Okay, now you can loop this as long as you want it to. You can cut it and add different sections. Down here where it says beat presets, you can choose a different beat preset, and all that does is it affects this little box here. What does this do? Changes how he plays. You have soft to hard, simple to complex. So if we wanted to go soft and simple, right? But if we wanted to go loud and complex, right? Isn't that awesome? Let's put it right in the middle. Okay, moving over here to the right, you have these different selections. Right now it's set to kick, snare, hi-hat. There's a slider here to adjust how many times he's hitting the hi-hat per beat or what he's doing with it. So if we turn it up, you see? Kick and snare, this affects how often he hits the kick and the snare per beat. Let's put that up. All right. So let's click on this. Now you've got toms and cymbals. See, so instead of the hi-hat, he's hitting the toms. How about cymbals? Want to add some claps? How about a little, one of these things, tambourine, bells. All right, so over here, beat presets. This affects, this is some built-in stuff that they've put together different combinations of things. So you'll notice when I click on one of these, everything will change. Let's click Spellbound. See how it changed? How about this one? Pretty cool, huh? All right, so I'm gonna just leave it on heavy hand, and that's gonna be our drum track for this quick song that we're gonna make here. So I'm going to now, once you've got it how you want it, now there's a bunch of different things you can do. You can cut this and then add another drummer section where he's using cymbals. For example, let's say it's like a solo and you want big drums. You can cut it, make a new drummer track, make him play harder or make him play different for that section, and then, you know, put back to the regular way. But if we just want to do something real simple, what you can do is you can grab this little arrow where it's spin around, pointing back at itself right here, and you can loop it and just make it go on as many times as you want. We're going to put it out about like that. Okay. So now we've got a drummer track, and what are we going to do next? Well, I think we need to come up with a song. So let's do that. I'm going to turn the guitar up here, and we're just going to kind of play a few things and see if we can come up with something that sounds good. Okay? So let's see if we can come up with something right now. I want to say, though, I'm going to do it with the drummer playing so that I can try to do it in the right tempo. All right, so I think I got something. So yeah, really, now you might already have an idea, right? I'm just pulling shit out of my ass right now. You know, I think that sounds pretty cool. It'll work for this video. All right, so how do we actually do this? So it's really easy, guys. You just hit the record button and just go. All right, you ready? You want to do this? Let's do this. There we go. So, this is a learning opportunity for you guys. Do you notice anything about this? All right, so let's assume that you're totally new to this and you don't know anything about how to record a song. If you see something that looks like this is very bad. So this is peaking. What peaking means is that the volume of the input is so loud that the computer is not able to capture the entire sound. It cuts it off because it is too loud. It goes too high. And the way you know that is you see all these solid lines all the way up here at the top. Move my mouse so you can see. You see all that? Now look at the drummer track as an example. You see how it's got very defined highs and then it goes down, very defined highs and it goes down. But here, it's all high the whole time. Well, that's because the input is too loud. So what you want to do is turn your guitar. Now, I want you to watch this right here. All right, watch that green line. See how it goes all the way to the top? That means it's peaking out. So what you want to do is you want to make it so that when you hit your guitar as hard as you can and as loud as you can, it doesn't hit the top. Then it'll capture everything. So I'm going to adjust the volume over here on the amp a little bit. That's a lot better. See that? It's not going all the way up. All right. Now, you cannot fix a track that peaked. Sorry, you can't do it. You got to re-record it. So we're going to re-record it. I'm not cutting this video. I'm trying to do this in one shot if I can. So if you do see a cut later, it means I had a technical problem and I'm sorry. All right, I messed up a little bit there, but that's okay. All right, that looks a lot better. As you can see, it's not, I mean, it is getting there, so kind of, barely. Technically, this is bad. If any of you are audio engineer, well, first of all, why are you watching this if you're an audio engineer? But you're cringing right now. But yeah, that's better. All right, what do we do now? Well, there's a couple things you can do. You want to check your level, make sure that it's not too loud, but before you do that, if you're going to do anything else, for example, like a bass track. So I've got a hack for you if you don't have a bass guitar. What you want to do is you want to put your amp on a clean setting. You want to create a new audio track, so right-click and hit New Audio Track. All right, there we go. And we want to view the smart controls. All right. And what you want to do is go over to the left side where you have electric guitar and bass. Click on that. I'm going to click on clean bass. And I'm going to pick substation. So what did I just do? I applied a preset to my guitar to make it sound like a bass. Hear that? Now, if you had a subwoofer, or if I had a subwoofer on this Mac, you would clearly hear it's like shaking bass. Let's try to record the bass line. Okay, we got that done. So something you can do when you're making a song, you can listen to things by themselves. So to do that, you click the little headphone button, and when you do that, it mutes everything else. So all you hear is, and look what we got. We've got peaking. I gotta do it over again, damn it. That's okay. This should have been a live video because this is gonna be long and uncut because I want you guys to see. I don't want to be like, oh, and magically the song appeared. I want you to see what goes into doing this. So we're gonna do this again. I'm really sorry. Let's go. All right, I think that's better. All right, so back to the original point here. If we go back, we can listen to this by itself if we just click the little headphone button. Sounds like a guitar still, doesn't it? Let's see if we can fix that. So turn the highs down, the gain, that adjusts the overall volume. I remember doing this before, and I have to remember. That sounds a little bit more like a bass, doesn't it? Okay. Still doesn't sound like a bass though, does it? There's a way to do this. I'll be right back. I'm gonna figure it out. So I think I was right the first time. I'm just gonna leave it on sub bass, substation. We'll see how it sounds with real speakers. So now if we listen back to this, here's what we got so far. Guitar sounds a little loud. Turn it down a little. All right, so something that I recommend doing, it depends on what kind of music you're doing, right? So if you want to try to emulate like a three-piece band, I wouldn't put the guitar in the middle. I would stick it over like -30 or something like that. Put it on one side and turn it up a little. So that's one option. The other option is to record 2 tracks. So this is a huge tip for anybody recording their own songs. The difference between having one guitar track for rhythm in the middle and one all the way on the left and one all the way on the right, recorded separately, by the way, is massive. It is a humongous difference. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. So I'm gonna put this all the way to the left. I'm gonna right click, I'm gonna hit new track with duplicate settings so that I basically clone it. This one we're gonna put all the way to the right. And we're going to record this whole thing again. Uh-oh. you see that? We got a feedback error. So that's what I was telling you guys. So when you get that feedback error, it breaks your whole recording. It breaks everything. So we're gonna try this again. All right, so we got the second one done. Let me move that back. All right, now we have a left channel and a right channel. So listen to how it sounds with just one guitar versus two. Here's the second guitar. See how it just makes it so much more alive? Now, leveling it, I'm not a pro, guys. I just go by ear. It sounded like the guitars were way too loud, and when you add instruments, you gotta lower the volume. So let's see if that sounds better. Sounds better. Okay, I want to add one more track, and I'm going to put it in the middle. And this time we're going to add a really cool effect. It's called stereo spread. That is located in, bear with me, imaging. Check out how this sounds, okay? So I'm going to turn stereo spread off and listen to how it sounds without it. So here's without it. Let's turn it on. It widens it a considerable amount. So we're gonna turn on stereo spread and we're gonna record lead over this. And then our song will be done. Okay, one take. It wasn't amazing, but it'll work. All right, so let's clean this up a little. So we didn't really start playing until right here. I always recommend leaving at least a little bit of space before you start playing. Otherwise it sounds really artificial when the sound just magically appears. So I'm just gonna click and drag this, there. We're gonna do the same thing for these other tracks too. So we're gonna go to the beginning and we're gonna just drag this a little bit. Get rid of any potential for weird noises or whatever. Okay, and you do the same thing at the end. I mean, for these, I'm just gonna leave them because I used my volume knob on my guitar to kind of make it stop. So, all right, here's the whole thing. We're gonna play it back and see if it sounds okay to us. And then at the end, I will put the actual processed sound file in the video. But let's not get ahead of ourselves here. Let's see if it sounds okay. I think that turned out pretty good. All right, so next we are going to save the file. So let's say everything sounds perfect. What do? Share, export song to disk. It's gonna bring up your window where you want to save it. All right, we've got a demos folder. We're just gonna put it in there and we're gonna call it One Shot. How about that? One Shot. And we're gonna export it. So you can export it however you want to, but I always do AIFF uncompressed because that's the very best possible quality. If you're gonna be like texting this to your friends or something, you wanna choose something like MP3 and make it smaller, but if you're trying to save this in the highest quality possible, choose AIFF uncompressed. We're gonna hit export, and what it's gonna do is it's gonna run through and bounce all these tracks to an audio file. All right, it's done. So now let's find our file. I believe it put it in the demos folder. Here's our file right here. And let's open that with QuickTime. Make sure that it works. It's done. Well, that's how you make a song in GarageBand with a cheap computer. I would say that this thing handled it pretty much perfectly. I didn't have any latency problems. I did have that one weird error message that happened. You may not have even noticed it was so quick and it only happened once. But overall, yeah, I recommend it. If you've got an old Mac and you have the capability of doing what I did to it, it's certainly worth it. It's not worth spending $1,200 on a new one. While they're very nice and 10 times faster than this one, they're also 10 times more expensive. And really, it's up to you to decide if you want to spend that kind of money. So there you go. I really appreciate all of you. Thank you for sticking around and watching with me. Hopefully you'll learn something today. I know this is a really long, rambling video, but honestly, if you're watching it, it's because you need the details, right? So I wanted to provide all of them for you. Next time, we will take a look at video editing, maybe, on this computer. I don't know if it can handle it or not, but we're going to give it a try. So that's it. Appreciate you guys. Check the links in the description to join the Discord or to buy stuff from Fender or get Fender Play lessons free for 14 days. And thank you very much again. Keep on rocking. See you next time.